Hello. Thank you and welcome back to another edition of your favorite online program, which is Talk Shop, where we tell it like it is and let the chips fall where they may. Even before I continue, you can see I'm wearing my what time is it t-shirt. They are finally in, man. And in the next episode, I'm going to give you more apo on how you can get yourself it's Nation Time t-shirt. This is how it looks like in the front. You see that? That's how it looks like in the front. What time is it? And on the back, there you go. It's Nation Time. It's Nation Time. So we are getting more of these t-shirts in, and very soon I want to make sure that every Ghanaian is wearing It's Nation Time. By the way, do you know what qualifies you to wear this? You need to have one qualification. You have to think Ghana first. I'm telling you, man. Once you're thinking Ghana first, you are qualified to wear It's Nation Time. You know, I don't care. NDC, CPP, MPP, ND, whatever you are, I don't care. The point is that you have to be motivated by this slogan, Ghana first. When you start putting Ghana first, you see how things will just start improving and how we can all as a nation be united under that banner, Ghana first, and Ghana will definitely rise again. All right, it's Ghana first. And I'll tell you what I'm talking about today in a second, but look, see what is happening in Parliament. I think it was just a day or two ago that Agbin told us that, we are not in any constitutional crisis. Listen to him.
There is no constitutional crisis in the country.
Did you hear him? He wants to make it clear to us that we are not in a constitutional crisis. And so he's reconvening Parliament. And he did. He reconvened Parliament. And guess what? There was no show from the MPP. So he had to again suspend Parliament. Listen to him.
We are compelled to once again adjourn the sitting of the House indefinitely.
There we go. There's no constitutional crisis. I've reconvened Parliament. Parliament gets together. The NPP, no show. So what happens? The Speaker has to again, indefinitely, close down Parliament. Oh, but it's not a constitutional crisis. I think it's just a hobby. You can open and reconvene and then close, indefinite and open. It's just a hobby and not constitutional crisis. What are you telling us? But folks, that's a different topic for another day. But of course, we are in the constitutional crisis as we build our way. The election is 1 month away. The election is 1 month away. And this is, I'm talking to you on the 7th of November. So if you're watching it later, then it's even lesser number of days away. So for today, my topic is the Parliament one day. It's just an aside. We'll come back to those people later. We told you just a few weeks ago that they should stop fooling. So we'll come back to that later. But for today, it's the countdown to the 7th of December. The election is coming on. So today, my topic is very, very, very interesting. The topic is, will the real Jean Mensa stand up? Let me repeat my topic for today. As I said, the election is like just a month away. So I'm concentrating on the elections for now. And the topic of the presentation today on Talk Shop is this: will the real Jean Mensa stand up? Okay, folks, I'm sure you're all asking, what do you mean by that topic? Will the real Jean Mensa stand up? What do you mean? Why am I saying this? Because I've seen two Jean Mensas. The first one I know, Madame Jean Mensa 1. And if I'm calling you Madame, please, it's out of respect for the office. Because technically, you sing so much. You are like my nephew. Even me starting time cry me back. But out of respect for the office that you hold, I'm calling you Madame Jean Mensa. The first Madame Jean Mensa that I know was the executive director of the IEA, the Institute of Economic Affairs. And let me say this, Madame, you were fantastic. I kid you not. As the executive director of the IEA, you were fantastic. Let me tell you something about good leadership. You know, whenever you see that any institute or any organization, or for that matter, any country, when you see that they have a lot of visibility, trust me, it boils down to the vision and direction of the leader. When you have a visionless leader, when you have a leader who has no direction, whatever company, organization, or whatever they are heading doesn't have any oomph. There is no visibility. But I tell you, Madam Jane Mensa, you brought visibility to the IEA. You made it significant because of your leadership. You know, you have a very accomplished track record as a lawyer. You know, intending with Amatefu Law Firm, with J.B. Darocha, these legal luminaries. You served as an intern, or should I say, student lawyer or researchers with them. And you finally came out as a lawyer. And let me tell you, when you became the executive director of the IEA, you made it a very vibrant organization. It was very, very vibrant. And I take my hat off for you. Say, you know, it's very funny. And please, whoever is executive director now, forgive my ignorance. Fetch me. It's nothing personal. But since Jim Mensa left, I don't even know exactly who's there now. I should know, but I don't. What I'm saying is that Jean Mensa made it so visible, so proactive, so dynamic that you couldn't help but notice that there's something called the IEA, and they were dynamic because of the leader. So Jean Mensa, that's the Jean Mensa I know. Apart from that, where else do I know? We have never met before. We have no grounds of anything for assessing you other than how you performed when you were the executive director of the IEA. Fantastic. And one more thing that you did for Ghana when you were executive director, and Ghana will never forget. Jean Mensa, you were the first person to institute presidential debates. Not only presidential debates, so even vice presidential debates. And I really remember you back in the day when you were introducing this program and why it was launched and everything. The very, very young Madam Jean Mensa then. Take a look at you.
My name is Jean Mensa. I'm the Executive Director of the Institute of Economic Affairs in Ghana. Basically, the IEA believes that those who seek to govern must subject themselves to probing questions from the electorate to ensure that they understand their concerns and have the capacity to address them. And this has been the background of the debates, the presidential debates that we have organized in Ghana since the year 2000.
That's right, folks. Show some love. Show some love. You know, so the whole idea of introducing debating into the politics of Ghana came from Jean Mensa. The whole idea of debating. And trust me, the debating had an impact on the politics of our country. It did. And it came from you. So let me fast forward and say this, that when, for me, I heard that you had become the electoral commissioner, I said, wow, that is a deserving woman. She's worked for it. She had shown leadership. She steered the IEA in a very vibrant way. And let me tell you, all of you people who are wanting to be leaders or who are leaders of various corporations and things, I'm telling you, when your corporation lacks the vibrancy or the visibility, it affects you directly as a leader who is vibrant, makes whatever they are leading visible and vibrant. And Jean, trust me, you made the visibility of IEA very, very, very profound. So yeah, we hear that Charlotte Osei is moving when the hands change and move from the NDC to the MPP. The new government came in, they said, no, we cannot deal with Charlotte Osei. We're bringing a new person. And in came Jane Mensa. In came Jane Mensa. And even at that time when you came in, I said, oh, great. Me, at least I'm glad it's been replaced with another woman. Because women are dynamic, you know. Women have vision, women have focus. Unfortunately, and this is just by the way, unfortunately in Ghana we have a system where we do not give women the most respect that they deserve. We do to an extent, but we always play it down. And I'll give you these two as examples. When Mahama, President Mahama, nominated Charlotte Osei as Electoral Commission, you remember the vile, vicious rumors? Because immediately said, if Mahama had appointed a man, they would have no question. No. We would have just accepted it. So Mahama has appointed another man after Afrejan to be the electoral commissioner. No question. But because it was a woman, the rumors started. Very vicious rumors. Folks, the rumors about Charlotte Osei were so vicious that even repeating what was said, I can't. It was such a disgrace. Embarrassing. And even men of reputable standing were throwing these visuals out there. Why somebody like Charlotte Osei will be made an electoral commissioner? Just because she was a woman. And so I was very happy when Nana Addo also appointed a woman. You know, to say that no, women must be respected, and a woman is actually very capable. So they appointed Jane Mensa as an electoral commissioner. And what gave me hope and great inspiration was this church service that you attended, and the words you spoke when you were giving that position, the words you spoke. Take a look at this.
I think we all acknowledge that God has chosen us to this role, and we pledge to serve our country in truth and in virtue, which is our motto, our school motto.
Yeah, we're back. I'm going to say something, and then I'll just repeat what she said again. She said that I think she went to St. Mary's College and Mary's Secondary School, and their motto is truth and virtue. And she said that is what they have been brought up thinking and believing in. So she was coming to that position as an electoral commissioner with truth and virtue. Please listen to it one more time.
I think we all acknowledge that God has chosen us to this role, and we pledge to serve our country in truth and in virtue, which is our motto, our school motto.
You know, just the idea that she was going to be motivated by truth and virtue, they said, that's the woman we have right there. And even when she was serving as IEA, and this is one of the things that I said made her dynamic. She made her impact real, to be felt across Ghana, to the extent that she, even as IEA executive director, gave her views towards a good election. Because Ghana, please, elections are all. Elections, everything is about how we can organize elections. So even as IEA director, I remember her making a statement like, engage an independent body to audit the register. That's what she said. And this is when there was talk about from the MPP that the register was not accurate, there were mistakes, there were irregularities. So the MPP raised the concern that this register needed an audit. And you came out, and I loved it, that the executive director of the IEA has added her voice. You advised Charlotte Osei to engage an independent body to audit the voters register. But you said it. And that is when That is why when it was announced that you would be the EC, I said, yes, that's a dynamic woman. She has her eyes on the ground. You actually advised Charlotte, please. Why don't you engage an independent body to audit the register? And this came from you, madam. That's as I say, I know two of you. That's the first Mensa I know. Not only that, too, and I remember very, very clearly the advice that you, Madam Jane Mensa, as executive director of the IEA, the advice that you gave to Charlotte Osei. You told her to be proactive and she should deal with the credibility issues. And I thought that was so profound. You know, whether the issues were true or not, you said be proactive and deal with it because perception becomes a reality. And once there's a perception that Charlotte may have some ties with Mahama or the NDC or these things, it will damage the credibility of the office. So you told her to be proactive and deal with that. You see, so Madam Jean, I'm just saying that the Jean that I know from the days of your executive directorship of the IAEA, through your vision, coming up with presidential debates, all in the interest of making sure that there's accountability in this country. All in the making sure of giving Ghanaians who watch the debate a chance to see the presidential candidates and their policies and where they stand so that we vote as informed people. Who now the buyer? Yes, I did.
What we at the IEA have sought to do with these presidential debates is simply to broaden the space for dialogue, offer a platform for healthy contestation of different visions, and provide an avenue for undecided voters to make an informed choice on Election Day. This year, our focus is on electoral accountability and the need to make our elections issue-based.
So why do you think that when you were made an electoral commissioner, I wouldn't be happy and rejoice? Yes, I was happy and I rejoiced. Okay? Now, that's the first Jean that I know. The second Jean is the electoral commissioner. And I am very sorry. It's like you've gone through some transformation from Jean 1 to Jean 2. That's why I'm saying that we are 1 month away from the election. Which Jean is going to stand up? The one that was very, very interested back in the day about making sure that the register was audited by an independent body to make it legitimate? Or the one that now we are getting to know now seems very, very stubborn, seems very, very adamant. Watch my English, it seems. Maybe you are not stubborn. Maybe you are not adamant. Maybe you are the coolest, warmest, friendliest person in the world. But now, because of your actions, you seem adamant, Madam Jean. You seem strong-headed. And all of a sudden, we have moved from Jean, who was the director of the IEA, promoting healthy democratic practices. Promoting not as a practice, but the path to get to these practices, to be legitimate and judicious and everything. All of a sudden, all these noises about the voters register, blah, 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 and zilch. Quiet. And this is not helping you, you know, Madam Jean. This is not helpful. At least some semblance of care from the dynamic person we knew handling the IEA, actually advising the then electoral commissioner to be proactive. Actually advising them to be very, very, very care of credibility issues. Madam Jean Mensa, I'm sorry to say, it's the same credibility issues that you are battling with now. And all that crazy people like me have been saying for all the time is that, please, you to be proactive small. The same advice that you gave. That's why I repeated what you said So it's not like KSM must come and blah, blah, blah. No, KSM is only quoting things you said. And how you yourself know that those things that you said were the right things. So you can say the right thing, but not do the right thing. It's just a question. December 7th is a month away. Which are we going to see? The gene that was advising for proactiveness, that was advising for actual cleanliness or cleanliness of the register, or the gene that says, I won't listen to anything, this is where we want to go, and that's where we're going. Which of you is going to stand up? So after presenting this, I am hoping that Ghanaians are now understanding where I come from when I ask which Jean Mensa is going to stand up. The one I knew before, or the one who seems now that they are very focused. Let me tell you something else that doesn't help. You know, what this country is suffering now is this. The Supreme Court, I come back to the EC, the Supreme Court is now suffering credibility issues. You know why? Because they are acting as if they have allegiance not to Ghana, but to somebody else. That's why I'm seeing a t-shirt way. In order to qualify to wear this t-shirt, your slogan must be Ghana first. The bottom line is this, folks. Whatever you do, people have differences. Whatever you do, go to heaven and earth or whatever, people have differences. There will be MPP, there will be NDC, there will be CPP, there will be Cheddar, there will be whatever, there will be Allah, whatever there will be. It doesn't matter. You have the right to be whichever you want. You have the right. But the only thing that you don't have the right to do is to put that party ahead of Ghana. Yes, I will go wrong. And at the risk of being contempt or whatever, let me say that the feeling that Ghanaians get there, the impressions that Ghanaians are getting now is that the Supreme Court, their loyalty is not really to the red, gold, and green, but something else. I don't say anything, but something else. Now let me come back to the Electoral Commission. The same credibility thing that you talked about is hitting you in the face too. And sadly, because somehow it is now okay for some strange reason for the president to put people in charge of the Electoral Commission and hire this and that and everything and so forth and so forth. It is fine. But let me say this. And Madam Jane, with all respect to you, if somebody who is supposed to be an administrative assistant of yours, or somebody who holds a very dignified position in the Electoral Commission by the name of one Bosman Asare, can actually open his mouth and describe the NDC as the greatest threat to democracy in Ghana, that is so not on. Mr. Bosman Asare, Pacho, even if that is what you truly believe, and maybe many people believe that, your position as a member of that body that is supposed to be neutral, that is supposed to be the arbiter, that position alone, if you think twice, will inform you that even if that's what you believe, you don't say it publicly. It is so wrong. It is so pathetic. Say, Electoral Commission, a commission that's supposed to make sure that everything is right. You can open your mouth and say something against one of the competing parties. Okay, for us, I'm twitching. All I'm saying is, Mensa, the credibility issues that you are advising, shall I say, about. Ibieni. I don't know whether you called him aside and told him, say, don't speak that rubbish again or whatever. I don't know. Or whether you called him aside to pat him on the back, say, waka. I don't know. I don't want to think about that. The only thing I want to think about is that you gave Charlotte an amazing advice about protecting the credibility, and in other words, the integrity of the institution. And with you, to be comfortable with your position now and allow people like Bossman to be making statements like this. Folks, let me tell you something. Without any qualms about this statement, let us reverse the thing. If it was the NDC in power, and the NDC had appointed people to work in the Electoral Commission, and some of the appointees in the Electoral Commission had made a statement that the MPP is a threat to democracy, I swear to God, and come how far? They can't say, and come Samia. No, seriously, you think the NPP as a party, as a political organization in opposition will sit down, Ghana for say, to watch a member, an executive member of the Electoral Commission, tell them that you people cry, you are a threat to the democracy. Oh, come home with Samia. They would have pulled heaven and earth to get you off the commission. But hey, it is what it is. We are now in this commission and their members can say this and be free. It is what it is. But me Pacho, Mensa, we are heading towards what I will call one of the most consequential elections in the history of this country. Definitely for the Fourth Republic, this is probably the most consequential election that we are going to. So, Madame Mensa, the responsibility on your hands is phenomenal. Let me say this. You have a chance to go down in history as being the person who was at the helm of the Electoral Commission at the time Ghana was going through their most consequential election. And you held your own and delivered a fabulous election. And all Ghanaians will applaud you. And that will be a lasting legacy that will be in the history books forever. Trust me, Jean. If you can hold this election together, and that is the beauty of the Electoral Commission, hold it together with fairness, with transparency, with legitimacy and everything, and let us go through this election. Trust me, you go down in history as having left one of the strongest legacies as an electoral commissioner for Ghana. But if at the same token, if you mess it up, if you allow these credibility issues that have been poking Ghanaians in the mind to come and actually divert you from your truth and virtue that you preached. I'm quoting you that you're going to conduct yourself with truth and virtue.
I think we all acknowledge that God has chosen us to this role, and we pledge to serve our country in truth and in virtue, which is our motto, our school motto.
Trust me, if you allow truth and virtue to guide you and your conscience to deliver a nice, clean, respectable, free, fair election where every vote counts, you go down in history with the best legacy that we have had from the electoral commissioners, because your time is different. This is the most consequential election. So Jean, which one is going to stand up? The dynamic, straightforward visionary that we knew at the Institute of Economic Affairs, or the not so clear, not so sure, wishy-washy, not really understanding person that unfortunately you have allowed yourself to become under the EC. But let me say this. Personally, my heart is for you. Personally, I believe that when you were saying those words about truth and virtue, you meant it. And personally, I have the confidence that you are going to deliver an outstanding election. And I have the confidence that you're going to battle with the credibility issues that you nicely advised Cheryl to watch. Folks, I'm not going to say too much. We are just practically from today a month away from the election. Even though back when you say we are not in constitutional crisis,
there is no constitutional crisis in the country.
My hope and everything is that we will respect the Constitution and have the election on the December 7th, in spite of the not a crisis, whatever we want to describe it. But my stand is this, which Jean Mensa is going to stand up. I'm counting on the first one, and so are Ghanaians. Folks, this has been Talk Shop. What time is it? It's nation time. It is nation time. And I think in another episode or so, I'll be talking about nation time. And when I say nation time, what I mean by nation time? And the fact that young fan nation time as all of our motto, trust me, Ghana will sink like there's no tomorrow. But the only reason that I believe that Ghana will rise again is that all the people in one strong voice of unison will shout, it is nation time. Okay, folks, it's nation time. Those of you who could have missed the beginning, tune again, because the t-shirts are now all back. And it says in the front here, what time is it? And look at what it says in the back. It's nation time. And we're going to be distributing these t-shirts, but it's going to people who think Ghana first. There's no other way to think. You can love your party, you can worship your party, but you have to think Ghana first. So folks, this has been Talk Shop, where we tell the truth and let the chips fall where they may. And as we always say, truth crashed to earth shall rise again. Folks, what time is it? It's nation time.